Hi everyone, welcome back to Novel Nomad. My name is Kate and I am going to be talking with you today about my November book haul. Now November is usually a big month for me because I have my birthday and I usually go to Supernova, which is faithfully scheduled every November. So I get to usually see a whole bunch of authors buy a whole bunch of books, and then I get to have the wonderful treats and gifts from all my lovely family and friends. So I thought I might share with you some of the books and bookish things I got during the month of November this year. So the first and most glorious thing I want to share with you, what my parents got me, is A History of the World and 100 Objects from the British Museum. No, I didn't get to go to the British Museum, but this exhibition is on tour in Canberra at the National Museum of Australia till January, so do check it out if you can. It is absolutely amazing, and if you can't, there is a handy dandy podcast in which you can listen to, and it's actually the creator explaining to you why he chose the objects and their historical significance in human development. And that is why he calls it A History of the World, because it's only objects that are at the British Museum. Now this one is absolutely amazing. Not only does it have absolutely stunning quality photographs of all the exhibitions, it has a really beautiful little write-up about it, just short and brief, but that's all you need. And it was so much fun. I got to go there. It was part of my birthday present from my parents, and it was absolutely beautiful. I loved it. I could spend another few hours looking at this very small exhibition, but it was just amazing. And of course I had to buy the book as a memento of such a lovely birthday gift. Whilst I was in Canberra, I also went to see the National War Memorial, and it was stunning. So beautiful. I definitely recommend going. The First World War section was absolutely mind-blowing. The displays and the progression and the story it takes you around on the pathway is absolutely amazing. I highly recommend it. The First World War section was really good. Second World War section, whilst it had a lot of information, it wasn't as well organized in my opinion. I'm being picky because it was fairly amazing, but it still didn't have the connectivity that the First World War section had. But in the Second World War section, I read a section from a woman called Jan Ruff O'Hearn, and she was actually a sexual assault victim during the Japanese invasion. She was taken to a brothel and she was forced into prostitution for the Japanese soldiers at the time. And of course, after the Second World War, no one really spoke of their experiences. And so she was never really able to speak out about her sexual assault until she saw the Korean War rape victims actually speaking out and demanding justice on TV. So she decided to do the same, and she actually wrote a book called The 50 Years of Silence, and this is her here. And I thought that was so amazing to be able to read this woman's account and experiences, because I never have really studied the Pacific front. I haven't really gone into the Australian and Japanese and all in the Southeast Asian areas of the war, but this social problem that was usually forgotten about because it's all about the military sides of war, but the social issues are always what fascinate me, and to be written by Jan herself is just so fascinating. So I'm really looking forward to this one. So now on to Supernova, because the two authors that I was going to see and was really excited, and I already own their books, was Peter V. Brett from the Demon Cycle series, which is so good. I can't wait for the final book. And the other one was Alison Goodman. She's written The Lady Helen The Dark Days Club, which is so good. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen me like hitting that up all the time. But it was so good. I absolutely loved it. I read it for the event, and to just go and see her and then gush to her, because one is set in the Regency period and I love my historical fiction, and that was also additional dark fantasy, so sold. The next person I really wanted to see was Angela Slater. Now she has written some amazing short story collections in Australia, lots of fairy tale based ones and some sci-fi fantasy ones as well. But also she's just written a novel called Vigil, and this is in the Verity Fassbender series, and his second one's coming out really soon. And apparently I was telling her that this cover is stunning, which it is, and she said they wanted to change it, and I'm like, no, it works so well, because this is a urban dark fantasy set in Brisbane, modern day Brisbane, so that's in Australia, and that's so rare to, because usually it's like London or somewhere in America or things like that, but I actually have it in Australia. So cool. So I love talking to her. I haven't actually read this one yet. I've read her short stories and I love them. So it was really interesting to hear her take of how she made the transition from writing short stories to writing a novel. And she said it took her 5 years for this book. So I can't wait to read it, because it obviously sounds she put so much effort into it. So another author of the panels who I found absolutely hilarious and enthralling was Maria Lewis, and this is her first book, Who's Afraid. Maria is actually a journalist and she does usually movie reviews in like entertainment style, but this sounds hilarious. It is supernatural, basically thinking werewolves, but lady werewolf, and it's a girl who's grown up very normal life in Scotland, only to find that when her mother died she wants to trace down her father, and when she finds about him she finds out that there's more to her than she ever could have believed, and he's in New Zealand. So I thought that was absolutely fascinating, and of course the heroine has blue hair. How awesome is that? So yes, I cannot wait to get into this book. And she's hilarious. She signed it. She gave my book abs because she was giving a banana abs, and I praised her ab drawing on a banana. So my book now has abs. So I'm fully appreciative. Thank you, Maria. On to the books that I bought myself. Not presents, but books that I bought myself. And the first one was Star Touch Queen by Roshani Chosky. Sorry if I minced that up, but yes, I have been seeing this on all the is it UK? I think it's mainly US that it was released, all the US booktubers, and I have been waiting for this book to get an Australian release. Finally did on the day that it was released. The local bookstore that's near my work had it on their Instagram, and I saw it on my break, so I just like power walked to the store, because you can't run into a bookstore. Well, you can, but you might scare everyone on the way in with your enthusiasm for the book. So I power walked to pick up a copy of this one, and it is beautiful. I'm glad they didn't change the cover from the US one, because it's just stunning. So I cannot wait to read this one. So it's a YA with political intrigue, political marriages, love, desire, and otherworldly things going on. So come on, I'm gonna read this anyway, so I'm so excited. This is gorgeous. And the other book that I purchased, which is quite a chunky tome, and that is The Locksmith's Daughter by Karen Brooks, and I may have been swayed by the amount of gold foiling on the cover, but that's not the only reason. Karen Brooks is, I believe, an Australian author. Yes, she is. She lives in Tasmania. So Karen Brooks is an Australian author, and this is the second book I've seen of hers. I think the first one was called The Brewer's Tale. So this is actually set in Elizabethan times, and it's about spies and murder and intrigue and mystery and all those lovely things that come up. And of course it's got a wee bit of romance, which is always acceptable. But yeah, so the whole intrigue and spies of the Elizabethan court is absolutely fascinating. So I cannot wait to read this one. Alright, so now onto my wonderful and beautiful birthday things that I received from all my lovely friends and family. The first two books I got using a book voucher that three of my lovely friends put in together for. And the first one is Ghost Talker by Mary Robinette Kowal. Now she wrote the Glamorous series, which is set in Regency England with magic glamour, so I had to get this one in hardcover. So this is set in World War I, and the main character, Ginger, is actually a medium for the Spiritualist Corps, which is a spiritualist force in the First World War. But of course they can be quite clairvoyant, they can get meaning and messages, and as long as they pass it through appropriate channels, that's where their information actually is utilised by the top. She discovers evidence of a traitor, and she can't hand on the information without people thinking she's absolutely crazy. So she tries to make it her mission with the other spirit corps to find out what is going on and who the traitor is, and to uncover the secret. So lots of big mysteries, but it sounds absolutely amazing. I cannot wait. The other book I got with a voucher is The Ghost Empire by Richard Fidler. I haven't read any of Richard's stuff before, but it comes highly recommended. He is writing of the journey that he and his son took going to Istanbul in 2014, and Richard looks into the world of Constantinople and the history behind Istanbul, and it goes through the city. So as he tours the city and takes you on his trip and discoveries and experiences going around modern day Istanbul, he also gives you the history and everything. So it's a bit of a memoir, a bit of a travel novel, and also a bit of history. So it just sounds amazing, and I've always wanted to go to Istanbul. One of my friends has, and I was so jealous. But it sounds really interesting and really multi-layered, because that's what Istanbul is. It is such a multi-layered city with religion and history that it just is absolutely fascinating. So I was so excited when I read about this book, but I was waiting hopefully to have enough money to buy it, and thankfully with the voucher I was able to afford it. So thank you very much, my lovely friends who got me that voucher. One book that I did request from some of my friends, which I found quite hilarious, and I actually follow their Instagram website, is Hot Dudes Reading. Yes, I caved. I requested it. It is so funny. I follow the Instagram, and okay, I do feel bad because you are objectifying a guy who reads, but if you read the hashtags, it makes it worth it. You can follow them on their Instagram account, but the book is just so funny. It has the Instagram pictures with the caption and the hashtags. The hashtags are worth it. And it's just something that always makes me laugh every time they upload a new Instagram picture. So definitely check this out if you want a bit of a laughter and reading related, like, come on. The last book I got from my friends for my birthday was Henrietta's War. Now my friend who got this for me knows me very well because this is set in World War II and it's by Joyce Dennis, and it's about a spirited Henrietta who is a doctor's wife, and she wants to do things to help the war effort, but then she doesn't know how that kind of interacts with also being the constraints of being a doctor's wife. So it's juggling that, and it's also looking at other people within the community and having it quite hilarious little country manners in a way. So especially in the wartime period, because there was a lot of rationing and how things affected the everyday life of people in World War II. The last few are bookish things that I got. So the first one is a bookmark from the beautiful Lily Tales. I'll show her down there. So this is Books Are Uniquely Portable Magic, and if you have a really close, if you look really close on this one, you can actually see the tiny Deathly Hallows on here. But this is lovely bookmarks. I have a few myself already, and these are great presents. So I'll definitely link Lily Tales down below. You can buy them over at Nook and Burrow, and these are really, really great. Talking of Nook and Burrow, this is actually one of their candles that my friends got for me, and it's called Enchanted Library. And when we're smelling it, what did we decide? I think we went with chocolate, Baileys, bit of vanilla. So very enchanted library, but I was thinking if you're in an old library with the vanilla scented old books around you, eating a Ferrero Rocher and drinking a glass of Baileys, that is this experience. So if that does sound highly appealing to you, Enchanted Library. It is actually really lovely. I haven't burnt it yet because I still have like 5 candles to get through, but I'm really excited to get to this one and just enjoy the chocolatey, Bailey, vanilla-y goodness. The last and certainly not least bookish thing that I got for my birthday is Bookpin. This is actually, I'll see if I can get a close enough picture of it. If you can see, it's the 4th book in the Harry Potter series. These are pins made by Jane Mount. She has her own website called Ideal Bookshelf, and on Instagram as well. And my friend, she was really sneaky. She texted me asking what my favourite Harry Potter book was, and I said it was The Goblet of Fire, and she told me hers was The Prisoner of Azkaban. So we got in this huge discussion about Harry Potter books. Little did I know she was buying me a Harry Potter Goblet of Fire pin, which is freaking amazing. And funny enough, on my birthday night it actually suited the dress I was wearing, so it looked really good. So these are absolutely adorable. They have the entire Harry Potter series, and I'm not sure what other bookish pins she has, but it'd be really interesting to see what other series you could buy from her. So I had a wonderful November, and it was such a great experience, and it leaves one feeling incredibly cherished, and it leaves one's bookshelves incredibly overpacked, but at the same time no regrets. All beautiful books to read in the coming year. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all next time.